Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called O Heavenly Bliss Unfold.
Like the blooming of lotus flowers and the soft wind of spring showers.
We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananji in Miami, Florida. Today is August the 10th, 2018, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Tulsi Ramayana. This is series 2016, class number 117. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananji.
Om Nilambuja Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panavu Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side. He is carrying a powerful bow, an arrow in his hands. Sri Ramcharitmanas, the Ramayana, in Balkanda, and Doha number is 293. In the storyline, Lord Rama has broken the Shiva's bow and he has practically wedded Sita, but a ritualistic form of marriage celebration is to be conducted. And so, King Janaka has sent messengers with the news that his son broke Shiva's bow and he's going to be wedded to Sita. So, King Dasharatha and his party should come, what's known as Bharat party. It's a marriage procession. And follow also the mystical insight. When we hear historical stories, it has a special fascination for the mind. But that fascination is a sugar coating. The pill is philosophical insight. If we stay with only that fascination, then your mind is highly distracted. But that also has its own role. If you are a child, kindergarten is good. So, to have Ram Bhakti, you plan to visit Ayodhya, Janakpur, and collect so many relics. But I'm cutting that aspect out, focusing more on the profounder aspect. King Dasharatha is the jiva, the individual soul. That individual soul is meant to attain God realization. That's the goal for the individual soul. Every individual soul is not ready for enlightenment. But King Dasharatha was backed up by lots of virtuous deeds, righteous deeds. So much so, he became a great assistance and friend for Indra, helping Indra to secure his heavenly world. That also is allegorical. The idea is virtuous deeds can place the soul to the stage of Indra, Indraloka, implying you can have maximum enjoyment that your mind has imagined. Enjoyment that your mind imagines is based upon your senses and your ego and many other limited aspects. That enjoyment is not the real enjoyment, called bhoga. And King Janaka, rather King Dasharatha, rose to that height of having access to all Indra's enjoyment. But he went still further. You have to go into the storyline to understand that point. He was a sister with Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi is the spirit of Vairagya. And so the soul enriched by virtuous karmas came to the stage of Dasharatha level. Jiva that is ready to attain enlightenment. But in order that Jiva attains enlightenment, now life's movement must become yoga movement. And yoga movement means 4 yogas must blend. Jnana, those 4 spirits of yoga become Dasharatha's sons. Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. Rama is jnana, the highest knowledge that gives you liberation. Lakshmana is dhyana, that's allegorically he is the big snake with 1,000 hoods, and he keeps the whole universe, and you have to keep it steady, you see, without shaking his mind. And also allegorical, the idea is, dhyana is allowing your mind to handle all situations with patience, with amazing inner strength. And that Lakshmana plays that role. Bharata is bhakti, devotion. Shatrughna is karma yoga. The very meaning of his name, Shatru, is enemies. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, all these are desire, anger, greed, etc. These are all inimical to your soul. And Shatrughna goes on clearing them. They are called malas. These 4 aspects blend. Then you are now Dasharatha with your 4 sons. This joyous stage was more news is to break. While these 4 are giving delight to Dasharatha, there comes a stage when Vishwamitra takes Rama and Lakshmana away for profounder progress, implying Rama and Lakshmana, they must follow that aspect of spiritual movement which brings about intuitional knowledge and leads the soul to enlightenment, which implies in a storyline breaking the Shiva's bow, marrying Sita, going into the forest, Sita being kidnapped, going after ignorance, Ravana destroying, all that story opens up through Rama and Lakshmana on one side. And in the meantime, the heart level, the very seat of all this spiritual movement is being protected by Bharata and Shatrughna. In the storyline, we have not come to that stage. But here just enjoy what has happened. Rama has broken the Shiva's bow. If your personality has come to that stage, of not being drawn to the world of birth and death, because world of birth and death is the pull that influences every soul. And as long as you are gripped by that pull, your only movement is in the world of pravritti, which is the world of karma. And there is no end to karma. But with Rama, with this stage where Rama breaks the bow, now a passage has opened for attaining nivritti, absolute liberation. Rama has accomplished it. And that news is brought to King Dasharatha. Already King Dasharatha has enjoyed the message, and he brought the royal messengers of King Janaka along with the letter of King Janaka to before his guru, Sage Vasishtha. तब उठी भूप वशिष्ठ कहूं दीन पत्रिका जाई कथा सुनाई गुरु ही सब सादर दूत बोलाई. King went to Sage Vasishtha and presented that letter that he had received from the messengers from King Janaka. And also, very respectfully, welcomed those messengers in that assembly where Guru was also present, Vasishtha was there. When Vasishtha hears the news, Suni bole gur ati sukha pai, punya purusha kahu mahi sukha bchai, जिमि सरिता सागर महु जाहि यद्यपि ताहि कामना नाहि. When Sage Vasishtha heard all the news, he was extremely joyous, and he said that a virtuous soul like you, King Dasharatha, for a virtuous soul, this whole earth abounds with joy. Just as all the rivers go into the ocean, and ocean doesn't show any emotion. Ocean remains as if nothing has happened. Simple point, if you are following the path of dharma, that's where you are going to end up. That state known as Chita Prajna. Apuryamanam achalam pratishtham samudramapah parvishanti yadyat. That's the same point is brought in the Gita, describing the characteristics of one who is enlightened. Lord Krishna says, the enlightened one is like the ocean. All the pleasures of the world come to the ocean, or like rivers. Ocean neither expected them, nor in any way has become better because of them. It's allegorical. You may argue it in a literal way. But these are all allegorical statements. And this point is further brought out in the Ramayana. Jahan sumati tah sampati nana. Wherever there is, whoever has developed enriched understanding, understanding based upon righteous deeds. Righteous deeds have opened your heart to a profounder understanding. That's called sumati. Wherever there is sumati, sampati nana, all types of prosperity are drawn automatically, whether you like it or not. It's like spring season has entered your heart. Vasantavat. Jaha kumati taha vipati nidhana. But if you don't like sumati in your heart, and you have bought lot of karkat, markat, slush, impurities, I'm joking, in your heart. While I'm joking, I'm not underestimating. Human life is very mysterious. You can't get out of so many distractions so easily. But at the same time, you must realize your inner resource is not ordinary. If you count the darkness, it's impossible for you to ever think of removing all the darkness by any scientific process. But when sun rises, the problem doesn't even enter the mind. How did the sun remove all that? So there lies your secret of life. If you focus your mind, life has brought me so many challenges. And if not here, outside world. And so forth. I have no time to describe all that. But instead of focusing your mind on that, try to do a foxy job. Slip into satsanga. Allow your mind to be fascinated by listening to spiritual talks that give inspiration. So all those inspiring impressions entering your unconscious, they begin to create their magic. And that power is much greater than the power of impurities of your mind. So, simple again, remember this point. If you want all prosperity, harmony, peace, a joyous life, secret develops sumati. That's why we give the prayer. Sabko sanmati de Bhagavan. Sanmati, sumati, they are all synonyms, which means good understanding. But if you don't have good understanding, then unwittingly you have become a magnetic source for drawing all impurities, all that is dark, dreary, and dangerous. Vipati nidhana, that's called vipatti. All adverse circumstances, adversities. Your mind just finds itself to be overpowered by negativity. Tuma guru vipradhenu surasevi, tasi punita kaushalya devi. You have been serving Guru, Vipra. Vipra relates to Brahmins who are expert in guiding you, on the spiritual path because they handle all scriptural teachings. That's the role of Vipras, Brahmins. Dhenu, cows, their role is to nourish you by milk. Sur, gods, I'm giving you just the literal meaning, but profounder meaning. Guru Sevi, if you are serving Guru, service of Guru is not just handling certain jobs. Real service is assimilating the teaching of the Guru and following the path. In other words, to become enlightened. What pleases the teacher in teacher-student relationship? When the teacher finds the student bright, sometimes brighter than himself, that gives him more satisfaction to his teaching profession than anything else. I'm giving you a profounder way. I'm not talking about modern business. So Guru Seva means show that you have what you have listened, you are assimilating it. And Guru's job, if at all ask what is Guru's job, Guru's mission, Jnana Yajna, allowing the teachings to go into countless personalities and allow them to grow. Every Guru has the central job, that's the central mission. If you deviate from it, that's a distraction. And that's not reality. That creates a lot of trouble to society. When all the people become simply involved in evaluating Guru after Guru and follow this Guru, not the other one. One Guru gave you Durga mantra, another Guru gives you Ram mantra. Third Guru says, don't go after that, Shiva mantra. That's not Guru Seva. Guru Seva is not to follow narrow-minded teaching. Guru Seva is, I'm referring to the authentic concept of Guru. Guru Seva is that which allows you to discover your essential nature and shine with the light of God within you. So that's the Guru's role. The role of Vipras, people who are elders and who have more experience of scriptures, and they have followed rituals and they have created various sacraments. So they provide for you a basis for following the path that will lead you to liberation. In other words, Vipra movement is Satsanga movement. So by Satsanga, you are serving the Brahmins. Serving cows can take it practical reality. Highlighting cow in Hindu culture is not meant to just keep all your good sentiment confined only to cow animal. It is meant to view all animals with a compassionate heart. Otherwise, you are not doing cow seva. That's one point. Profounder level, all the Upanishads are cows. Sarvopanishado gavo, dugdha gopalanandana. Krishna milks those cows. So look at Krishna and ask him, what should you do? How to serve those cows? To serve the cows is to utilize the knowledge. You simply have verbal knowledge, then you are putting all the milk in the refrigerator. But you are drinking it, assimilating it, and sharing it with others. Come to that stage where you learn the art of turning it into butter, makhan. And then who will come to steal it? God himself. Simply tell people, don't tell him, don't tell Krishna. I'm joking. But that's what the subtle point behind these stories. And that's called cow seva. Krishna is the great servant of cow. Sursevi, how to serve gods, Devi Sampat, divine qualities, virtuous qualities. So if you follow the path of pleasing Guru, serving Brahmins, serving cows, serving gurus, serving devatas, gods. So remember, it's easily said in one line, but what does it imply? This is what it implies. So Sage Vasishtha is describing Dasharatha's personality. Dasharatha jiva that has gained such virtue. And how did he gain it? By his skill in serving Guru, Brahmin, cows, gods. And likewise, Kaushalya Devi, Rama's mother, also is qualified with all these great virtues. Sukriti tumha saman jagamahi, bhayavuna hai kauhone unahi. O king, this type of fortune that you have gained, never was anyone like that, and never will be anyone like you. If you take it literally, then the whole statement is a big lie. When Krishna's role is described, Krishna is also. Never was like anyone like him, never will be anyone like him. You describe Yudhishthira, you do the same thing. But what does that simply imply? Never was, never will be, relate to the world of triad, seer, seen and sight. That type of spiritual attainment which enables the soul to go beyond the world. That soul and its attainment now is nowhere in the world. Never was, never will be. and never is in the present. It transcends time, space, causation. So it is not like things of the world that can be compared in degrees. So that's all the subtle meaning behind it. तुमते अधिक पुण्य बढ़ काके राजन राम सरित सुत जाके. No one can excel you on the path of virtue, because you are blessed with son like Rama. Okay, just one moment. वीर विनीत धर्म व्रतधारी गुण सागर बर बालक चारी. Your 4 sons, they are heroes, veer. Heroes, I have explained to you. Spiritual hero is not muscle. You may climb the whole mountain without perspiring. That's bravo, but that's not the real veer. But you can face a challenging situation, especially if someone provokes you to anger, and still your love for the soul of the person doesn't go away. That's called veer. If you want to see the veer strength, see the relation of mother with the children. How much she is ignoring the defects of the child, rather looks at every situation of the child with love. If you have that type of a heart building up, you have taken the path of strength. It's very hard for masses to understand. They are thinking of strength in the terms of a mountain, and I am describing strength in the terms of a flower. And finally, that heroic strength that leads your soul to enlightenment, that removes ignorance, that is the real strength. All types of strengths are just palabras, vain strength. Vineet, another quality, humility. More heroic you are, humbler and softer you become. Tiranadapi sunichena. You are ready to become humbler than a blade of grass. Blade of grass says, look, can you be as flexible as me? One has developed divine heroism. Said, oh yes, can be so flexible that it can nourish you in every part of your little tender blade. I'm taking you to different dimensions. beneath. People get confused, you see. Humility is not humiliation. By humility, you recognize the dignity of your soul. Dharma Vratadhari. And they live for dharma. That's their vrata. Vrata means you have taken a vow, mystic vow. And dharma, wherever there is dharma, if you follow dharma, yours is victory. Yato dharmas tato jaya. Gun sagar barbal balakachari. These four brothers, Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, they are the ocean of all divine qualities. Tum kahu sarva kala kalyana, sajahu varata bajai nishana. O king, for you there is auspiciousness at all times. Kalyan. When life flows with joy, when you find spiritual enrichment in your life, and you begin to enjoy a different type of delight within your heart, that's called kala. Kal, 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 kal. The river flows kal, 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 kal. Poetically, it's why it shows joyous movement. But in kal movement, a divine yarn comes in. Aeroplane comes in. When kal movement becomes accelerated, beyond your imagination. That's called kalyan. Kalyan ho. Not ordinary joyous situation, but something that explodes beyond your imagination. Because the real kalyan is discovering your soul and its amazing glory. So no matter what we imagine, you cannot really understand what the real kalyan is. So therefore, whatever is your concept of being joyous and fortunate, that will come to you, kal, 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 but it will come with accelerated potency in it. So the way you are doing kal, kal today, tomorrow, that kal, kal will be at a very advanced level until you attain enlightenment. Attaining enlightenment, not like attaining some property or attaining big money. Sajahu barat bajai nishana, beat the drums and prepare the whole marriage party. Chalahu begi suni guru bachan bhalehi nath sirunai bhupati gavane bhavan tab dutana basu dikha devai. And Guru said, do it quick, speedily. And King Dasharatha said, O Lord, O sage, we are going to accomplish this. We'll follow your order. The messengers of King Janaka. They were given their quarters to stay, and the king himself went to his royal palace. Raja sabur anivas bolai, Janaka patrika vachi sunai. The king allowed all the queens to come, and he read out that letter that was sent by King Janaka about Rama's breaking the bow, about invitation to prepare the marriage party, and so forth. And the queens became exceedingly delighted. And also King Janaka told all these details about what happened. Rama broke the bow and how Parshurama, etc., etc. Prema prafullita raja hirani, manahu sikhini sunivari dabani. The queens became overwhelmed with joy, loving joy. What type of experience? Just like peacocks, when they hear the cloud thundering and soft rain is to descend, how they become thrilled. That's a highly wonderful allegorical picture. When they become thrilled, not only they are thrilled, everybody around becomes thrilled. All the feathers spread out, miracle of miracles. All the rainbows are trapped in every little feather. Behind this description, subtle meaning is, if you develop Shubha Bhavana, if your heart were to become free from the egos, Rajasic, Tamasic ego creates a lot of restriction within your heart, a lot of foxes and fowls. When you become free of that, now you are having a different scene in your heart. Your heart has, like peacock, has spread its wings, feathers. And cloud is going to bring rain. Grace is going to shower. And your heart is delighting, like a peacock. Trying to understand these points becomes medicines to correct you from falling into depressive and dejected states. So they have all this description as a purpose. Buddhita asisa dehi gur nari, ati ananda bagana mahatari. All elderly women, Guru Nari also relates to this. According to storyline, the various great sages had their counterparts as their spouses. Arundhati and many others, they were elderly Guru Naris, and they began to give blessings. And mothers were exceedingly delighted to hear all this news. What you are being led to, that this type of news is breaking every moment in your heart. You stay in boredom until you are awakened, your attention is drawn to it. So all scriptural knowledge is a kind of a bringing news. In Christian culture, it is described as news, susamachar, good news. That's how they bring their teachings to the masses. लेहि परस्पर अति प्रिय पाती, हृदय लगाई जुड़ा वहीं छाती. And it is a display of the loving sentiments, the very letter they take, and they display their love just with the letter. Fascinating letter. Hold it in your arms, kiss it, bless it, whichever way. Sometimes people do with iPhones. राम लखन कह कीरति करनी, बारही बार भूप बर बरनी. And they again and again told the glorious deeds done by Rama and Lakshmana. मुनि प्रसाद कही द्वार सिधाए, रानिन तम मही देव बुलाए. And the king said all this happened because of the grace of Sage Vasishtha, Sage Vishwamitra. And now the queens, celebrating that good news, they invited Brahmins and gave lots of wealth in charity, and received blessings from all those who received the charity. जाचक लिए बखकारी, दीन निछावरी कोटि विधि, चिरुजीवहु सुतचारी, चक्रवर्ती दशरथ के. And all bhikshus, people who beg and live by begging, they were all invited, they were given lots of things, millions of types of things. And they were invited with great joy. In Hindi language, messengers were sent, and they invite by saying hakar. Hakar means you go on pleading, come, come, I'm inviting you. Until they say, yes, we are coming. Yes. Don't leave them until they are secured. So, not just invite, but secure they are coming. How do you know it's secure? They say, oh. You shout at them, come, come. Say, we are coming, we are coming. Both together, hakar. Such a way you approach them that they say, means they agreed. And all those people who received charity and all that, they all blessed the 4 sons of King Dasharatha. कहत चले परिहरे पटनाना, हर्ष घने गहे निशाना. समाचार सब लोग न पाए, लागे घर घर हो न बधाए. Now all of them dressing themselves in the best way possible, with great joy. This is the whole city became filled with joy and joyous celebration. In every home there was a special type of expression of festivity. Bhuvanchari das bhara uchahu, Janaka suta raghuvira viha vivahu. Sita is going to be married to Rama. This brought about a joyous surge that inundated 14 planes of the universe. That figure that how can that be possible? Let me simplify it. All the universe you are experiencing, what's the basis of that? Mind and senses. Mind is antahakarana, 4. Indriyas, the instruments for the soul, they are two types. Jnanendriya, senses of perception. Karmendriyas, organs of action. 5 organs of action, 5 senses of perception, 4-fold mind, 14. If all these 14 you receive a joyous surge, then 14 lokas become joyous. Let me give you a little parable. There was a king, great king, and his son became very enthusiastic to become an ideal king. And so one day his son comes to his father. He's grown up and he's going to inherit the kingdom. Says to his father, "Oh father, when I become king, I'm going to order all people to spread velvety cover over earth." So no one will have ever any trouble in our kingdom. The royal guru was nearby. He said, "Oh child, you can do it easily. Just big velvety shoes put in your in your feet. Once your feet are in velvety shoes, go anywhere. The whole earth is covered by velvet." So all the 14 lokas they talk about, they covered with joy if your 14 channels resonate with your spiritual experience. Figure that out, it has much greater reality. Otherwise you go after the word. And you want, if a little joyous news has come, and you want everybody to know. But even 3 furlongs nearby, people don't care, they don't know it. In other words, it's not possible for any good news to cover the whole world. But what it implies that if your mind has profoundly become sattvic, then all that you experience, because the world you don't experience, what I'm leading to understand, the world is there, But what you experience is what the world is. The world is actually Brahman. सुनि शुभ कथा लोग अनुरागे मग गृह गनी सवारन लागे. And now everyone in storyline, they started preparing the pathways, decking the roads, streets. यद्यपि अवध सदैव सुहावनी रामपुरी मंगलमय पावनी तदपि प्रीति के प्रीति सुहाई मंगल रचना रची बनाई. That Ayodhya is always beautiful city. But now at this juncture, this big good news and marriage procession is gathering. The entire Ayodhya became filled with a special embellishment. And the language here is tadapi priti ke priti suhai. Layers of love. One layer of love put silken dressing. Another layer of love put much more fascinating dressing. Another layer puts another. It's fabulous. That's where fables come from. ध्वज पताक पताक पट चामर चारू छावा परम विचित्र बजारू. Flags, banners, and all many details. They brought out a special festive appearance of Ayodhya. Kanak kalas toran manijala harad dood doob tati achat mala. And beautiful golden jar of kalash. A special preparations, special decorations done by jewels, as well as lot of turmeric, milk, yogurt, rice. They were all spread around. This whole style description, but behind the description is a subtler meaning that all your good bhavanas, feelings, they came together. मंगलमय निज निज भवन लोगन रचे बनाई बीथी सींची चतुरसम चौके चारु पुराई. People decorated their houses in such a way every house became an abode of auspiciousness. And every street was especially treated with chatursam. Chatursam is 4 ingredients. What are they? chandan, sandal paste, kesar, saffron, kasturi, musk, kapoor, camphor, sandal, saffron, musk and camphor. These are they are following the cultural style of festivity. Even in festivity, these fragrances nourish you and develop a kind of nourishing touch. Along with your spiritual samskaras begin to develop. That's how all the yajnas have been planned. When you pour certain things into the fire, sages have that insight. What is healthy? This medicinal effect that emanates when the things are in fire have a different effect that go into your blood faster than you imagine. But that's not all. Along with it, now your mind is much better relaxed. You have the opportunity for a higher type of understanding. They are called chatursam. Chatur also means clever. It's a clever trick. Tricking you to be healthy. Tricking you to be happy. And trick of all tricks, tricking you to be enlightened. So we stick to the trick. With this whole conclusion. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukma Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Ramayana. And Bakar becomes a micro.